Hey there and welcome. So today I'm going to set about doing fast paint Kappa. I have already got these undercoated white. They came to me undercoated white in honesty. I've had these for years and years and years, never quite got round to them. Not even sure what company they are. They came to me on hex bases with the grit already done, sand already done. Thank you Ken Hockley, you know who you are if you ever do see this. These are acquired through you, a guy I used to do painting work for. And I'm just going to fast paint these, so they're undercoated white, and I'm just going to use a few ink washes and let the white highlight, and then maybe do some dry brush techniques, and that'll be just about it, and that'll paint them. So this is going to be very fast. And first of all, I'm going to do a green ink wash over everything, so I'll get that done and I will show you Kappa in colour in a mo. Here you go then, all greened up, ready for the next phase, where I'm just going to be using the skin wash colour from the Vallejo Game Ink range. Just doing the loincloths, the shells, just to start moving towards the brown scale. And then I'll do the shells and the loincloths and everything all slightly different, just so there's a variety amongst it all. So we'll get that done and I'll get back to you in a moment. Here you go then, this is the skin wash all done. I'm just using it really to introduce brown tones into the loincloth slash, I'm going to assume they're seaweeds. I'm going to go with bladderwrack because bladderwrack is brown. Or yeah, it's brown or black in colour, I think pretty much bladderwrack, seaweed that is. And also you see that on the shells on the guy on the left, the shell on the back is darker, and that's just by applying a few layers of the skin wash to the back and only one layer to the front, so you get the light at the front, the dark at the back, because it's somewhat like a turtle. Also, just as a note, I'm not actually using these as Kappa, I'm going to be using these as Quotoa, and I will use the guys with the shelled backs as if they have shields, so I'll be working out the damage for them that way. The miniatures do actually represent sort of what they have, but they don't look exactly as the pictures of the Quotoa look. It just gives you a way of using stats which functions within the game, which is the most important thing, right? The game must function. So I am now going to use the dregs of the pale skin. I'm going to add a drop of violet ink to that, which will create a purpley browny mucky dark colour, and then I'll apply that to the hair to make it sort of a lank dark browny blacky colour. So we'll get that done and I'll be back in a second. There you go then, here's all the hair done. It's just sort of a lank purpley browny colour. I might give it a grey dry brush just to make it look a bit sort of greyer rather than purpley brown. Just again to create difference between that and the sort of colour of the shells slash loincloths. Yeah, you need to have that kind of variety. And just out of interest, if you were curious about Kappa themselves, they're actually Japanese spirit folk associated with good luck and fertility. In a lot of traditional Japanese artwork, you see them riding cucumbers or gherkins, and the top of their head is actually a bowl of water, and if you can spill the water, I think they have to grant you a wish, in sort of folklore as such. But like I say, these are going to be Quotoa for me. Also, I'm using them sort of a part of a deep sea adventure as such, rather than as an on-land Kappa. Maybe one day they will be used as actual Kappa, and this way they're actually painted. Hurrah! So next up, I will apply another green ink wash just to the scales to darken that up, tone it down, create a bit of differentiation between the skin areas and the scaly areas. So I shall see thee in a mo. Okay, then that's the next tier of green done. And you can see it just creates an extra bit of separation between the fleshy areas and the scaly areas. Just all of this differentiation, it just creates definition, and it just makes the miniature come to life a bit really. So I think I'm just going to literally do details now, which is going to be the eyes, the claws, and the bills of water on their heads. Also, just in case you were curious, I do think these are very old Ral Partha miniatures, but I wouldn't quote me on that because I'm not actually sure. I'm just vaguely remembering, and I think it's because they were actually D&D miniatures for Oriental Adventures and Kurator. But again, not exactly sure. I do know that they're pretty old minis though, because I picked them off as a second-hand buy off a guy who got them off a guy. So they're probably like late 80s Ralpath, that is my best guess. You never know though, they might still be in production if you like them. And you might be able to find some for yourselves, if you do like them, that is. So I'm going to crack on, do the details, and I'll be back with you. And I think then it'll just be basing left to do. And go there, so the mini's finished. You can see like the eyes are painted red and there's put a dot of orange in the centre, so it's like inverse pupils, just to put a bit of light in the eyes. Literally just tipped out the fingertips with white and put in the teeth with white, just to identify them clearly as being sort of toothy, naily, clawy things. Painted in the water. That was white mixed with just the dregs of the white from the claws mixed with a bit of blue, just roughly blocked in, and then a tiny bit of purple ink in water, just to sort of variegate the tone and blend it with the hair a tiny little bit. And I'm going to call the miniatures done there basically, but I'll do the bases and I'll give you a final look in just a mo. Here's the Kappa done then. I've just done the bases with earth brown and then dark flesh tone from the Vallejo game model range. No, model colour range, I'm lying. And that just finishes them off. So again, if I've talked about watercolour techniques in the past, and that's kind of what I've been using here. Let them self-shade effectively, self-highlight, and you get this nice range, building up layers in order to darken up. So this is glaze washing techniques. As you can see, you can get a decent result pretty quickly. I think it's taken me about 3 hours to paint these 6 miniatures. Just remember, if you are going to paint like this, pick the colour you want, and by the way, red is a bad choice, because red comes out as pink if you use this method, so that's probably about the one colour I'd say don't do with this kind of method. So I hope this has been some interest, use to you, and you're enjoying your painting. So cheers everybody, have a good one, take care, bye bye.